Welcome to Fairy Tales 1. I'm so glad you're here.
Hello, little explorers. Are you ready for an adventure that tickles your nose and makes your tummy rumble with excitement? The story I have for you today is called Ferdinand's Fuzzy Fumble. Deep in the whispering woods, where sunlight dappled through ancient leaves and the air hummed with the buzz of busy bees, lived Ferdinand, a rather peculiar pangolin. Now Ferdinand wasn't like the other pangolins. While they happily munched on ants and termites, their long, sticky tongues darting into mounds, Ferdinand had a secret yearning. He dreamt of picnics. Not just any picnics, mind you, but grand, elaborate picnics filled with delectable treats, crisp lemonade, and perhaps even a delightful cucumber sandwich. The problem? Ferdinand, with his scaly armor and shy disposition, found the very idea of a public picnic rather, overwhelming. His nose, though excellent at sniffing out juicy grubs, was also incredibly sensitive to strong smells, and the thought of a crowded picnic blanket brimming with various aromas sent shivers down his spine. He'd seen the squirrels with their nutty provisions, the rabbits with their crisp carrots, and the birds with their juicy berries all chattering and sharing. It looked so joyful, so communal. But Ferdinand's own preferred delicacy was dried, slightly sweet fungus-infused bark, a scent that to his sensitive nose was perfectly pleasant, but he suspected others might find pungent. He once tried to share a piece with Bartholomew, the badger, who'd politely declined with a rather strained grimace, and Ferdinand had been mortified. So he kept his culinary preferences and his picnic dreams to himself. One sunny morning, a flyer caught by a mischievous gust of wind fluttered past Ferdinand's burrow. It was for the annual Woodland Wonder Picnic, a grand event organized by the ever-enthusiastic Mayor Barnaby Bear. The flyer boasted, a feast for all, bring your favorite dish, and share the joy. Ferdinand's heart did a little somersault. This was his chance, but then his nose twitched. The thought of all those different food smells and his own special bark. What if no one liked it? What if he was the only one bringing something so different? He retreated into his burrow, his scales clicking softly with anxiety. He spent the day rearranging his pebble collection and polishing his favorite digging claws, his picnic dreams momentarily overshadowed by his shy sensibilities. Later that afternoon, as the sun began to cast long shadows, Ferdinand heard a commotion. It was Willow, the wise old owl, perched on a branch overlooking his burrow, her keen eyes observing his unusual inactivity. "Ferdinand, my dear," she hooted softly, her voice like rustling leaves. "Why are you not preparing for the Woodland Wonder Picnic? It's the highlight of our year." Ferdinand's scales tingled. He peeked out from behind a particularly sturdy fern. "Oh, Willow," he mumbled, shuffling his feet. I'm not sure I can. My nose, you see, it's very particular. And my favorite treat, the fungus-infused bark, well, it's not exactly everyone's cup of tea." Willow blinked her large, intelligent eyes. "Ferdinand," she said, her voice gentle but firm, "every creature in these woods has their own unique scent, their own unique taste. That is what makes our woodland so wonderfully diverse. Your bark perhaps is not for everyone, but that does not make it any less special. Imagine a world where everyone ate the same thing, smelled the same way, thought the same thoughts. How dreadfully dull that would be." Ferdinand considered this. He had never thought of it that way before. He looked at his paws, then back at Willow. "But what if they don't understand? What if they laugh?" Willow chuckled, a soft musical sound. "Then you have the courage to stand by what you love, Ferdinand. And who knows, perhaps, just perhaps, someone else might discover the exquisite delight of fungus-infused bark." She ruffled her feathers. "Now go on. Your scales might be tough, but your spirit is even tougher. Go prepare your treasure." Encouraged by Willow's words, Ferdinand scurried back into his burrow. He carefully selected a particularly fine piece of his prize bark, polished it to a lovely sheen, and wrapped it in a large, smooth leaf. He also decided to bring a small jar of particularly sweet dewdrop nectar, just in case. As he emerged, the air was already filled with the excited chatter of woodland creatures making their way towards Willow's clearing. He took a deep breath, his sensitive nose picking up the tantalizing aromas of roasted nuts, sweet berries, and freshly baked seed cakes. His heart hammered against his ribs, but he remembered Willow's words. The clearing was a riot of color and sound. Squirrels chased each other up trees, rabbits nibbled on clover, and a whole family of hedgehogs were meticulously arranging their hedgehog pastries. Mayor Barnaby Bear, a jovial figure with a booming laugh, was welcoming everyone. Ferdinand, feeling a little out of place, found a quiet spot near a large oak tree. He placed his leaf-wrapped bark and dewdrop nectar carefully on the grass. Soon a curious little field mouse named Pip, with whiskers that twitched with boundless energy, scampered over. "Oh, hello," Pip squeaked, his eyes wide. "What's that you have there?" Ferdinand's scales prickled. It's fungus-infused bark," he stammered, bracing himself. Pip tilted his head, his nose quivering. He sniffed the air around Ferdinand's offering. Ferdinand held his breath. Then Pip let out a delighted chirp. "It smells interesting in a good way, like a cozy damp log after a rain shower." He nibbled a tiny corner of the bark. His eyes widened further. "Oh my, it's so chewy and a little bit sweet, and it has a special zing to it." He looked at Ferdinand, his face beaming. "This is wonderful." Ferdinand stared, his jaw dropping slightly. Someone liked it. Pip's genuine enthusiasm was like a warm sunbeam chasing away all his anxieties. He felt a surge of pure joy. He offered Pip a tiny drop of the dewdrop nectar, which Pip lapped up with gusto. Soon other creatures noticed Pip's delight. Barnaby Bear lumbered over, his nose twitching. "What's this delightful aroma, Pip?" he boomed. Pip, mid-chew, gestured enthusiastically. "Ferdinand's fungus-infused bark, Mayor Bear, it's delicious." Barnaby took a more cautious sniff than a small bite. His eyes widened. "Well, I'll be a honey-loving bear. It's certainly unique, a most intriguing flavor profile, Ferdinand. A testament to the diversity of our woodland cuisine." He patted Ferdinand's scaly back with a paw as large as a dinner plate, nearly sending Ferdinand tumbling. Slowly, hesitantly at first, other woodland creatures approached. There was Beatrice the bunny, who usually only ate clover. She took a tiny nibble and declared it surprisingly earthy, but with a delightful texture. There was Finley the fox, known for his refined palate, who declared it an unexpected yet pleasant culinary discovery. Even Reginald the grumpy hedgehog, who usually complained about everything, grunted, "Not bad. A bit robust, but not entirely offensive." Ferdinand, for the first time in his life, felt truly seen, truly accepted for who he was and what he loved. He found himself chatting animatedly, explaining the subtle nuances of different types of fungus-infused bark. He even shared his dewdrop nectar, which proved to be a hit with everyone, its sweet simplicity, a perfect counterpoint to the more adventurous flavors. As the afternoon wore on, the Woodland Wonder Picnic was a resounding success, not just because of the delicious food, but because of the shared experience. Ferdinand watched as Pip shared a bit of his berry crumble with Beatrice, who then offered a piece of her dandelion salad to Finley. The air was filled not just with the scent of food, but with the sweet scent of friendship and understanding. Ferdinand, the shy pangolin with the sensitive nose and the peculiar taste, had discovered something far more valuable than any perfect picnic: the courage to be himself and the joy of sharing that self with the world. He realized that his perceived problem wasn't a problem at all, but simply a part of his unique charm. He even felt a little bolder, a little less anxious about his sensitive nose. Perhaps, he mused, he could even invite Pip over for a special fungus-infused bark tasting at his burrow next week. The thought made his scales tingle, but this time it was with happy anticipation. The Woodland Wonder Picnic had been wonderful indeed, not just for the food, but for the feeling of belonging. And with that, our adventure comes to a close, but the echoes of Ferdinand's bravery and the delightful taste of his unique bark will linger in our imaginations. If this story sparked your imagination and made you feel a little bit braver to be yourself, a like would be a wonderful way to show it. And to make sure you don't miss out on any of our future heartwarming tales, subscribing ensures you'll always be ready for our next adventure. Until next time, keep exploring, keep dreaming, and keep sharing your own wonderful uniqueness with the world.
See you again, and do like, share, and subscribe the channel. Fairy Tale.